Hey guys, it's Deconic, and day 3 saw a lot of upgrades, including a mercenary Doryani swap, which I was looking forward to, and a new PoB planner for the medium budget using the Dark Monarch, since I realized I didn't leave you guys with one in the last video. So I'll be going over that alongside my in-game progress later in this video. Now to start off, I want to go over my mercenaries gear and what exactly it took to switch to Doryani, because I think that is what is going to interest most of you. For the Doryani swap, now obviously you need Doryani because that's important, but the biggest priority here is actually getting him to not have lightning res on any piece of gear. So that means you have to replace anything that actually gives him lightning res. So for me, I think his boots had lightning res, he had a ring that had giga lightning res, so all of those had to go. These are the gloves he spawned with. This is the helmet he spawned with, purple stove for lucky lightning, and minus lightning res rings. Now these guys are expensive. I think I got them like 100 C each on average or something like that. So before you get these, I would recommend you could go Malachi's Artifice. That's minus 20 all early res for him, so you get that as minus 40. It's obviously going to be way worse than something like this, which are like both minus 60 to 70 ish lightning res, but overall it's still decent. I also don't like Malachi because it reduces code and fire res, which is also unideal, but at that point, what can you do? Then moving on to his skills, I finally found a mercenary that could actually use it. I recommend either Fallen Reverend or War Priest, but honestly, unless you really high roll the War Priest, I recommend Fallen Reverend, and the reason is he can have both of these auras. And why this is big is after I tested yesterday the Wrath aura with like a level 18 Wrath for myself, and his Wrath aura seemed to be giving more damage to my generic level 1 ball lightning than my level 18 Wrath aura. So their auras are actually very competitive with player auras towards the top end, unless you're speccing into like aura effect and whatnot. So I recommend just letting him have Wrath and Zealotry if you can find that. If you can only find one, have the one and run the other. But because I now have Wrath and Zealotry coming from him, I had to change my aura setup. But that kind of goes into the next PoB. But for the auras, what I did is I switched to, where is it, Haste. I'm not using Eval Haste. It's just level 10 because that's what my dexterity allows me. I don't particularly plan on pushing this much further unless I can afford more dexterity, but there's really no rush. It's just a free Haste aura, right, that I didn't have. And then I also did some tweaking to get like other auras in, like Flesh and Stone, but I'll go over that in the new PoB section. If you're enjoying the content and you haven't already, do consider liking and subscribing, as it helps a lot with the algorithm and with our 2025 goal of getting 2,000 subs, after which I will be doing a face reveal on stream and here on YouTube. Now for other changes that I had to make to get the Doryani to work, there were two options. I either had to drop Purity of Element, which was giving him plus lightning res, and this is what I decided because I didn't want to give up the ailment immunity from Purity yet. I dropped Commander of Darkness. Now this is of course, you're losing attack cast speed for your allies, you're losing increased damage, you're kind of losing some damage on this front, but you do not want to give him the early res. This also means your minions lose some early res, but that's the price we have to pay anyways. So we're doing this and we spec into Plaguebringer. This allowed him to go to only drop from, I think this is a minus 148. Now he's about a minus 100 and something in actual mapping gameplay. So it's not that high in actual maps because of the Purity of Element, but it's still a very decent damage boost. In most of the clips you're seeing, if not all, I was at minus 104 in my hideout, which means he was actually like minus 16 maps. So just keep that in mind. The damage you're seeing is literally just minus 60. It's not minus 100 yet. And for the passive tree, I switched my cluster to one that actually was 8 passive. So now I actually can get this node. I still have it empty. Alongside this being empty, I am kind of trolling on that front. I should have more damage than I currently do, but I just haven't gotten around to replacing these. Even these were empty once upon a time, but I finally filled them up with, like, I think these cost like 50 chaos each. So once I save up some money and I want to spend on it, I'll probably just end up getting these two. And they'll probably end up being Ghastly Eye Jewels for that extra flat lightning, because we are missing flat lightning because we're not going rate load right now using Dark Monarch. And of course, this just has to go eventually. It's really good for expedition with how dense those monsters end up being. It really juices my specters. But in content that doesn't have like those tight packs, this is not that great, and it still doesn't do anything for single target. So I will probably be replacing this with a Ghastly Eye Jewel for now, and then eventually with some unique jewels most likely. Now for the Dark Monarch PoB, there are quite a few changes here. Just to preface this is actually a plan for a higher budget than I have in game. So it has some things I do not have, and I have kind of tried to detail it as the best of my abilities. In terms of Spectre setups, you should check the notes section because it is important to know at every step of what your max Spectre is, what you should expect from how to set up your Spectres. But in this PoB, the difference in auras, we're going to start with that, is I went Mystic Bulwark instead of Deep Thoughts for some more spell block. I went spell block here in place of this. And with these changes, I am now going to be near capped on spell block with just Bone Offering without Rumi's Concoction active. With that, we're over capped on both blocks, which is really comfy. Since we are going to be delegating our Wrath and Zealotry, I just put 100% reservation, and I have them set up here as a config, so to say. Now, since our Fallen Reverend is providing these two, I have opted in to go for a haste aura for myself, like I said before. Now, if you do not have any one of these auras, you would replace haste with like that one. So if you don't have Zealotry, you go Zealotry. If you don't have Wrath, you go Wrath yourself until you got it. And because now we have some space that's coming from dropping Tempest Shield, we're not able to go Flesh and Stone. This portal is literally here because I couldn't think of anything I wanted to put in this last jewel socket, which is a problem I never thought I would have on a minion build, having too many sockets, but this is a first for me personally. Going over some gear changes to explain some of the choices we have here. We have Arcane Surge. Arcane Surge only procs when we spend mana, and the reason we want Arcane Surge to proc, which by the way it should be off, the reason we want Arcane Surge to proc is because we have Bitter Bind Point, and Bitter Bind Point has the line, your race specters also gain Arcane Surge when you do. This means we want to gain Arcane Surge through some way, shape or form, and the way we have opted to is spending mana. So that meant we needed to drop Eldritch Battery, and without Eldritch Battery there really wasn't any reason to path here for the Leech Mastery. So we moved that Leech Mastery to here because it was less points, more economical. Like, this is a level 94 PoB. Probably will add some points before this video goes live, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So we switched the Leech Mastery to here. We had to drop Vitality as well, so we have unreserved mana. Clarity could realistically go into this portal slot, but I don't know how I feel about dropping max mana just so we can have more mana regen, especially seeing as the only thing we should be casting on this setup is Sniper's Mark and Steel Skin, Convocation, etc. There's not much, so I don't think it's worth going Clarity. Now, the reason we're going Bitter Bind Points is because of the +1 Spectres. +1 Spectre for anything is going to equate to 2 Spectres thanks to the helmet. So once you get your Bitter Bind Point, which is the cheaper version of +1 Spectres here, we are going to be picking up an extra Defiler and a Perfect Blasphemer. Before you get to 7 Defilers, I don't know that it's worth going Blasphemer over an extra Defiler. Then past that, when you get your +1 Spectre chest, which by the way, I will be linking a past video of mine. The past video is going to have how to craft something like this on a budget. It's not going to be insanely high budget, but it's also not going to be insanely cheap either. It's going to cost at least a few divines to craft it, but this is a decent chest piece with +1 Spectre, and that'll be down in the description essentially if I don't want to rant for too long. Then once you eventually get your +1 Spectre chest, you want to get another Defiler, and you want to pick up a Perfect Spirit of Fortune. The Perfect Spirit of Fortune is optional, but the reason I have it here is because I am not the most convinced that Purple Stole range will be enough for 9 Defilers. So Perfect Spirit of Fortune, there's an option. Now, if you're fine with Purple Stole's range, or you're not really bothered about its uptime, then you can go for an extra Defiler in place of Perfect Spirit of Fortune. I'm undecided. I will probably end up testing both versions and seeing how I feel, but currently I feel like Purple Store's range is kind of limited with or limiting with how much kiting Wretched Defilers tend to do and how widespread they are, and our mercenary of choice as well. I just think it's better to delegate some of that burden to a Spectre. And as usual, you still want to ignore life on your chest, please do not forget you're ignoring life here for the 6 life masteries. We have not dropped that yet, so make sure you do not have life on your body armor. So yeah, that about summarizes the new PoB. Oh, and before I forget, there's also a mercenary section here that details what you should be looking for your mercenary, which is like Singularity, Dawnbreaker, rare helmets, ideally with Shaper mod, take increased element, nearby enemies take increased elemental damage. This should be really nice for increasing your DPS output before you get Crown of the Tyrant, because that's expensive. Doryani, rare gloves with non-lightning res, greaves with non-lightning res, and purple stole, ring with minus lightning res, and ring with minus lightning res. For belts, there are 2 options. If you're already at minus 200, you want to go Combs Binding, but before you get there, you want to use an Immortal Flesh here. As usual, I will be going live around when this video gets released, so feel free to stop by and see the build progress live or ask any questions you might have. If you made it this far, do consider liking and subscribing, as that helps out a lot. And with all that said, thank you for watching.